World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
Happy Monday and Happy New Year. Welcome to The Bold Show with me, your host, Marie Dunn. It is such an exciting evening. I have not seen you all since last year. I hope that you all had the chance to rejuvenate, recoup, and be ready to get back on that horse and make a difference in your life. Here on The Bold Show, we're all about highlighting our resilience, how we flourish, how we've decided to jump and just to dive and to just do something different, to arrive at a place where we can be the best version of ourselves, where we'll continue to impact, inspire, motivate others. I have a wonderful guest here tonight, Miss Denise Hamilton, Wright Hamilton. It is such a pleasure to have this lovely, vivacious woman here tonight. She is bold, she is beautiful, and she is audacious. She's not afraid to take risks. She is not afraid to show up as she sees fit. And this is what this is all about. We want to allow other women and men to realize that you could be whomever you want to be. Never allow anyone to dictate how you set your standards. It's all up to you. But you first have to start believing in yourself. This woman sitting right here, she's going to wow you all tonight. She is indeed the definition of strength, always overcoming and always looking to the future. Miss Denise Hamilton Wright, why don't you go ahead and tell us who you are? Welcome and thank you for being here.
First, Marie, thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor to be on your show. Um, Happy New Year to everyone and all those who are watching. My name is Denise Wright Hamilton. I have 3 beautiful kids, 2 boys and 1 girl. My oldest is 31 and my youngest is 15. Yes, I've overcome so many obstacles in my life. I have worn many hats. I was never afraid to try new things, and I don't give up easily. They say this is a man world, but they forget it says woman, and it's WO first, and then men at the end. Right? Well, I've struggled a lot, and nothing comes easy, especially when you have your dreams and you have expectations and you have goals and you really want it and you really want to go and get it and be successful at it. You have to live, sleep, and eat your dreams. Like, be there, be on time, be consistent, and be resilient. You have to. You're going to have a lot of naysayers. You're going to have a lot of people who do not believe in your dreams. And it's okay because they're not supposed to. You're supposed to believe in your own dreams first. Um, like I said, I've worn many hats. I started off at the YMCA. My first job actually was when I was 14. I was a babysitter. I knew from I was 16 that I wasn't going to work for someone for the rest of my life. I mean, we all eventually have to work. There are people who are meant to be leaders and owners, and there are people who are just willing to just work for others, which is fine. But for me, I just knew that I wanted something more, and I just wanted to have my own business. What kind of business at the time? I knew I wanted to be a teacher, but not a daycare, not to have my own daycare at that time. Again, when I was 14, I was a babysitter. After 14, being a babysitter, I was there I was around 16, 17. I started college. When I started college, I decided to, before I started college, I had my first child. And my son, who was 37, I mean, oh my God, 31,
He's gonna get
37,
to you.
right? I know Matt is over there saying, no, but actually 31. And then when he became like around 4, I said, you know what? This is not it for me. I want to continue school. Mind you that I graduated with my son in my stomach from high school. Yes, it was very hard. I said I wanted to go back to school, and that's exactly what I did. My son was my inspiration. He was actually the strength for me. He was the wind beneath my wings. He was the person that made me know that it's not only for me, it's for him as well. And I always tell him that. I told him that he's the one that makes me where I'm at right now in my life. I knew that I had not only my mouth to feed, but I had to feed his too, as a single mother at that. So
Wow.
I went to, yeah, I went to college. I got my bachelor's into education because that's my dream. That's what I want, education and psychology. And that's what I really wanted to do. Life hit me. I had to start working. I had bills to pay. So here I am. I have my degree. I'm working at the Harlem YMCA. I really wanted to be in the educational field, but they said for now the Jackie Robinson Center is being built and the preschool is not open yet. Do you want another job there? The only job they had, believe it or not, was a locker room attendant. It's
Wow.
fine. It didn't mean anything. I was mopping floors, doing reading books, thinking about what is next, what my next plan. Once you have a plan, it doesn't matter where you work because you know that this is just a stepping stone. So I just did it. I mop floors. I look at different shaped forms of bodies and, listen to different stories, a lot of knowledge from the elder people, the elders. Um, After that, I went back to school and the Jackie Robinson Center opened up, which was great. When I got there, I became an assistant teacher to a head teacher, a group teacher.
Wow.
Then I got offered into the public school and I went for it. I went to the public school. I started working as the only young Jamaican teacher in the school. They said the Jamaican teacher, but the young Jamaican teacher, that's what they used to call me. So I was there for a good while. I love what I do. My kids move up with me. I taught special children with special needs. Those time to call it, special education class. I taught them. They moved up with me to the 5th grade. After the 5th grade, I became a little bit stressed because of the environment that I was in. But I don't break. I didn't break. I didn't run. I just knew at this time that I want to be outside of the classroom, but I still want to be a part of my children's education. I call them my children. I was Edenwald Project was the backyard for the school, so it was tough. I dealt with all kinds of behaviors, not only from the children but from the parents.
Absolutely.
I toughed it through. I said, this is it. This is what I want to do. After that, there was a lot of prudential issues that was taking place with me. It was hard for me to go to school, go to work, and get all the things I needed at that time because I had my son. So I had to make my mind and decide what I wanted to do. I toughed it out for the last year, and then I started working private sectors because the requirements were different. You don't have to be licensed at that time. So while I'm working on my license, I was working in the private sector, which was fine because I had so much experience. I started as assistant teacher again, to a head teacher, to assistant, to educational coordinator, to a pilot teacher, to assistant director. So this is why I said it's time for me to have my daycare. It's just really time for me to have my daycare. I have too much experience. I've been helping from I was, what, 19, 20. While I was at the Harlem YMCA, I was helping other people open up their daycare. That was my little side job, writing proposals, things like, oh, I always hustle. I'm always hustling on the side. If it's not doing this, I'm hustling. If it's not putting in weaves, or when I was in high school, that's where I used to make my little extra money, doing box braids and weaves. And after that, I'm selling things, and I said to myself, this is me. I really, really want to have my own business. I even had after school programs in my house. I ran a whole summer camp at my church. Like, I turned over, you think it's a profession, you think that it was one of those high um, summer camps, one of those well-known, popular, prestigious summer camps, the way I had everything to the T, because I've been in so many people's business and doing, working for them and seeing how they do their thing, and take a little bit and of course show a little bit of me too. But
Absolutely.
I have a lot of experience in when it comes to the educational field, the levels, the requirements, the expectations, and the politics. Because there's politics everywhere. I mean, everything is not as beautiful as you see outside. There's a lot behind the scenes in the educational system. And we all know that, for those who are very active. Like right now, my son is in high school. He's in the 10th grade. I'm the PTA president. And sometimes that there's a lot of doors that are closed, and we can't open it up because this politics been going on for years. But you can try your very best to make a difference, and speak up as a parent and be a part of. The most important thing is to be a part of your child education. People, let them know that you are involved in your child education, or he or she, sadly to say, will be left behind. And the reason why I'm saying, because if the parents don't care, the teachers don't care. When they see that you have a special care for your child and there's his or her education, they will make the effort, and they know that you're not playing. That whatever your child is supposed to get, which they should get, they will get. They will do it. They'll make the effort. And I've learned that. I've learned so much. It's just like, ask me anything about the school system. Not anything, because only a fool knows anything. But because every day we learn something new, right? Unconsciously or consciously. But I've learned so much, and like I said, I've had the opportunity to work at different levels in the educational field, but I still knew something was missing, and that was for me to have my daycare. And that's something that I'm really working on. It was a lot of setbacks, and I'm reflecting right now, my hands up in the air. I have back to the drawing board, but nothing's before its time. I strongly believe that. Once I know I'm not sitting down, I'm working towards it. Yeah.
Wow, that's a powerful story. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And I think one of the biggest takeaways for me, just listening to you sharing your journey thus far,
Mhm.
it's you have made a conscious decision, right? Not
Yes.
to allow the minor setbacks or
No.
stuff that happens in your life to
Mhm.
distract you. Because I think
No.
just listening to you, it's like you've always had an entrepreneurial mindset.
Oh, definitely. Definitely, for anyone, when they're telling me that they're doing this, and I'm like, first of all, do you have a policy? Do you know that's a liability? Do you know that you have supposed to have procedures? Even if I don't even know your business,
Mhm.
I'm going to do my research and let you know exactly what you need. And it was just always an interest for me. Like, I love to see people open their business, and to be honest, I love to be a part of that. But it's just my time now, So I'm working on me now. But I love to see, even my son, my oldest son, he's like pretty much into that. He wants his own business. He wants to, and he's doing it. He's actually working on his things. But I told him there's more to it. It's not only just printing. There's some technical parts to it. You know, and the technical part is the finance. You need an accountant. You need to have, to be licensed. You need to, because there are benefits. There's things to reap also. You get benefits from it. It's just that, like, look at this. A lot of people, when the COVID happened, they had SBA, right? The grant. A lot of people have their business, but they didn't do the right things, or have the right documentations, or the policies or anything into place to say, well, you're supposed to have a bank account. Where's your bank account? that shows that you've been in business. Where's X, Y, and Z? They don't have that. So what they could have reaped, they no longer reap because they can't reap it because they weren't prepared. You have to be prepared for things like that. Open for business just like it's not only just flying the shutters or flying them up. It's not that. It's more to it than that. And that's why I said that it's I love when someone comes and say, you know, I want to open a business. And for me to have the little knowledge I had, and if I don't have all the knowledge, I send it to someone who's more experienced in that field. And it's just I wish that I had someone to be there for me in that way. But I guess I had to learn and get a little bump and bruises here and there to become more stronger and more knowledgeable.
Absolutely. I think that's what life is really all about. It's just being able, like you said before, to be able to self-reflect, take the time, and
Mhm.
be strategic. Because I think when you talk about the Black community, I can say the Black community because it's a lot of ignorance. It's a lot of ignorance. And when we talk about breaking that generational curse and making that statement for yourself, a lot of times one of the biggest struggles I see within our Black community, it's just being misinformed and not having that, like you said it just now, like you never had that right push. You
No,
never had that support.
all that
You never had
guidance. No.
someone to nurture you and groom you and say, hey, take you under their wings and this is how you should do it. But I
Yes.
think those are the key moments, the pivotal
Mhm.
moments in our lives
Mhm.
when we have to go out on a limb by yourself to figure this out. And look at you here today. Like, and we'll talk more about this
Mhm.
because like I know you on a personal level as well.
Right, right.
This is not it's not just like somebody who I see and I'm like, okay, I understand how your mind works.
Right, right, right. You know, it's
So
so funny that you said that you have to go out there. You want to know who taught me that I had to go out there? You. Let me tell you why. I knew
okay.
about network, but I never saw network in the work. Like
Mm,
really in the work in different outlets, different ways and different. You, I mean, yes, I go out there to get it, but who to go to, where to go to. Like you're into poetry, you know, and which is and you're an author and you knew the right circle, how to gain that circle, how to go out there and sell yourself. I never knew that even with a simple business you have to know how to sell yourself. Commercial, 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 bracing yourself out there. And when I see, it's not that I didn't have the ideas, I just didn't know how to go about it. But going on your page, seeing how you do things, reaching out to the community, things of that nature made me think bigger. Think about other things like how can I recently I did for the back to school, just put ourselves out there and to give back as well to free haircuts. You know, those are the way we create a family community and let them, and we're giving them we're giving work jobs to our community as well. Like we're hiring people in our community, you know, and it feels good. And that's like giving back also, and also, um, how can I say, like pretty much showing who you are, showing what your business stands for. Selling yourself, selling your business, and I felt that that's something I didn't really know how to go about. But when I see people like you in my circle and Judith, Judith, I think you know Judith, she's on your, and Michelle Secret, people like those, they're my inspiration. I watch and I see like how they're doing it. How I learn certain things was not consciously, it was unconsciously. I learned that I built my skills through my jobs, the various jobs that I had, the different levels that God put me, from, come on now, from uh, 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 um, a YMCA locker room attendant to from a babysitter, YMCA locker room attendant to assistant teacher to a pilot teacher to an educational coordinator to an assistant director to a teacher to assistant director. It's a lot. It's a lot, and all of that help built me, and I was able to meet people and watch what they're doing in their business. It's not that they're saying, okay, this is what you should learn. So if you want to open up your own business, they're not going to tell you that. This is what you need to do to get paid, and pretty much that's it. And they're not going to tell you everything. They're not going to show you everything because one of the fears for you to leave. Sometimes a real good boss wants the best for you and want you to move on, but they have some who just stagnates and just want you to stay there and to be there working for the rest of the time. So you really have to go out there, like you said, go out there and get it. Sell yourself. Yes.
Yeah, it's so important. Like, I've learned that in life. And I think one of our biggest setbacks, I think, in especially in the Black community and within the Black household, it's that you spoke about that earlier, about that fear and not willing to share information,
Yes.
not willing to
Yeah.
share information because we feel as if I share, then it's like having that crab in a barrel mentality.
Hmm.
We hold on to stuff and we hoard stuff, and
Hmm.
that's not necessarily like the God I serve. Like, I like
Hmm.
to interject God, and like
Me
the
too.
views I share here is it's just my opinions and how I've lived my life. I
Right.
think when I started being of service and started
Amen.
giving back, that's when I saw a huge difference in my life. Folks don't understand it, but I'm a living
It's a
example of
different
that.
level. It's a different feeling.
Exactly. Because the Bible
It
talks
makes
about
you appreciate things more. Yeah.
living in a place called gratitude and being able to give back, building community.
Building community.
That's what makes a difference because, when we're circulating that black dollar,
Mm.
when we're keeping it among ourselves, we're building a legacy. But I think sometimes we don't understand the power
One
of
we had before.
collective,
Yeah.
the collective mindset and feeding into each other, pouring back into each other so
Yes.
that we could all grow. So talk to me a bit about, like, you talked about like your real life experiences
Mhm.
and how you've always managed to overcome and keep pushing yourself. But outside of that, like, let us understand, how you consistently build that business mindset that you have and going out on those limbs that we talked about.
I think it was always embedded, but what makes me want to go more
Mhm.
is to see the little simple results. To
Mm,
just to know that the first day I had that key in my hand, you
mm,
know, it was a feeling of here I am, the first in my family
mm,
to actually own a business. People in my family and outside of my family were saying, "You sure you want to do that? Your last little money where you have, the last little money that you have. You sure you want to do that?" And I'm like, "What am I going to do with that money? I'm going to put it into the account. Then it's going to all bills are going to always be there. Why not invest?" See, the black community, black people in the whole, we don't believe in investing.
mm,
We believe in saving. When you save, the money's staying right there and you get a little percentage. When you invest, the money rolls over and you get to see it. And sometimes you have to take risks. It's not all the time you're going to open up a business and the business is going to be successful. I don't want everyone to think that because we struggled. There were times we were dipping into our money to pay bills, for our shop, for my shop. But at the end of the day, I realized that you have to make sacrifices. You're going to have to make sacrifices. When you asked me like how do I get over these and how I know that it was just like it's my nature. I'm not around anyone who have business, but I see people. I work with people who have their business. I'm like mom and pops. I've worked for mom and pop businesses, and I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it too. Yes, I'm black. Yes, I'm a female. I have those two things against me, but guess what? I'm going to do it regardless. I'm going to do it anyway. And whatever comes in the way, I've always learned from Michael Jordan, all those, celebrities who work hard, never sleep, maybe have 2 hours of sleep. I
mm.
realized that it's not going to be easy. I'm going to lose some sleep and I'm going to cry sometimes because I did cry a few times. There are times when I really want to give up, but giving up is what? Giving up is what you're going to have after you give up. You're going to be miserable because that wasn't your dream. Your dream wasn't to give up. Your dream was to become successful and have something. And if I'm going to fail trying, I'd rather fail trying than fail not doing anything. That was just my motto. That's how I felt. And believe me, even the ones that you love who's right next to you who don't believe in you, you can't worry about those. The most important thing, you got to believe in yourself because the Satan will bring, the devil will bring those people next to you, your husband, your best friend, your cousin, your parents. He will bring them. But you have to know what you stand for and what you want. Because at the end of the day, they go their own bed. Well, not my husband. He still stays in the bed, but they go their own directions. And here I am, like, okay, I'm living for others. You can't live for others. You have to live for you. And then after that, you service the others who really wants your service. Because not everybody's going to want it. Not everybody's going to cheer for you.
That
And I've
is
been there. I've been through my surgeries, everything. I have a lot of setbacks in my life. Emotionally, I was not there. Healthcare, I mean, like you got to take care of your mind. And there are times when I didn't even want to get up out of my bed. There were times like I said, what did I get myself into? I really have to be adult. Remember I told you about adulting? I don't want to adult this. Yes. There are times when I want to cut off that adult, that responsibility, but I just knew that that wasn't in me to just give up. I feel bad even more giving up than, you know, going through these hurdles and things of that nature. I really do. I just feel that I'm supposed to have more. And right now I'm burning. I'm burning. And it's like, okay, God, I'm being patient. I'm listening to you. I'm going back to the drawing board. I'm trying to figure out how we're going to do this. And it's okay. And I think about 7-time fall, 7-time rise, and I just have to believe in that. It's just everything is time, the right
Let's go back
time.
to something. You said something so powerful just now. Sacrifices. Be willing to make that sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we look, I could go to social media. We look around us and we see this business person, it's flourishing. Like we don't understand. We don't understand what they gave up. You talked about, like wanting to give up. You talk about those moments where you felt like, what is it that I got myself into?
Yes.
But you kept pushing. And
Yes.
sacrifices, just sitting here listening to you, I remember when I decided that I wanted to become a published author. And I said to myself, man, I can do this because the most important thing, I believed in myself. I was not sitting around waiting for someone to co sign or validate what it is that I was doing.
I know
But
that.
in my head, I thought, okay, fine, you know what? I have all these friends and I wrote a crowdfunding letter and I sent it out and I'm like, yeah, my friends are gonna give me all of the money that I wanted to start this business.
No.
Big mistake. I learned very quickly
Yes.
that
Yes.
that wasn't gonna happen.
Right.
And when you talk about sacrifices, I had to make a conscious decision. I drove a Mercedes. I had a car for years, but I had a
Yeah.
decision to make. Do I keep the roof over my head and have a fancy car? I had to decide. I gave up that car and it was okay
Right.
because thinking about the legacy that I am building and I'm creating, that intellectual property,
Yes.
it's all worth it.
Oh,
So
definitely.
for anyone here who's viewing the show or at some point in time, believe in yourself.
That's the most important step. The
Believe
first
in
step.
yourself.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
willing to make sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not willing to give of yourself, and if you're not
Make no
willing to
sense.
be uncomfortable, to be comfortable, then it's gonna stop it. Don't
You
even
always
waste your
you
time.
have to think long term. You can't think about instant gratification. You have to think long term. You have to invest a
Absolutely.
lot of time. You have to. And then eventually your money will work for you. But you have to work for your money now. You have to. And make those sacrifices. You're absolutely. I remember when that Mercedes. Oh man, I took my hat off to you because at that time in my mind frame, that Mercedes would be there. I have my pillow inside my car. I'm just playing.
I
But
know.
I remember that was a big sacrifice for you, and you really did it. You did it.
It is. But
Yes.
it's all worth it because it's like, at the end of the day, you have to like really think about your position in life and where it is that you want to
Right.
go. And we
Right.
hold on to material things, and that's something I could always get a car like eventually,
Yes. Yes.
right? But it's
Right.
about, just wanting to be exceptional
Right.
and wanting
Absolutely.
to jump and to dive. It's like
Right.
if you never did something different, you will never know how, what you
Right.
can be, how you could
Right.
be like, And I think
Mhm.
that's sometimes one of our biggest setbacks. It's
Mhm.
like we hold on and we have this minimalist mindset,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And that is to the death of
Yes.
us because it
Definitely.
stagnates us.
Yes. I totally agree with 100%. You're absolutely right. And I think that a lot of us are like that.
Yeah.
And that's what pretty much don't let us shine and to show our capability, what we're capable of doing. I used to be afraid. I used to be afraid. There are times, like I said, I'm not perfect. No one is perfect, and you're gonna have your time. You're gonna have your meltdowns, you know. But when it doesn't matter, getting those meltdowns is okay. It's fine. Like you used to tell me, what you said was what 20 seconds, 20 minutes, 10 minutes of
My 28 rule,
uh
you
huh.
cry for 20 seconds, and you put your feelings for 80 seconds.
That's it, and go and keep it moving. My mom used to always tell me, you can't cry over spilled milk. Just wipe it up and move on. And I'm living it. I lived it so many times, you know, and it's even more for me when you have other mouths to feed. You could be selfish, but I'm not a selfish person. Like I said, my son Michael. He was my inspiration. He was my motivation. You have a baby crying back then, it was Similac. It needs Similac, need this, need that. You know that you have to go out there. And not only that, you want to set a foundation for your children. You want to show them not only that I don't want to just give them money or say leave money for them. I wanted to see what a working mom is, what an independent mom is, what a strong black woman is, what is confidence, what is my relationship with my son now, my 15-year-old, it is such a profound relationship. We have such a communication skill going on between each other. I call it it's like my little man. And I realized the reason why I have that kind of relationship with him because I've matured. I had my kids younger, but I did a great job. Pat, pat, pat. I did a great job. They all did good. They're all doing good. They're manageable. They contribute to society. They do what they have to do, you know, and I'm happy for that. They're not on the streets all over the place and everything. Um, but I say this to say that you have to build that foundation. You have to create that foundation. You have to have real conversation with your kids. You have to show them what you have to show them the product. You just can't just say you need to do this and you're doing something totally different. You have to show them what it takes, and it's not going to be easy. And I think that's what my son Michael, who has his clothing business, um, he saw that. He knew from he was little he was painting shoes and painting jeans and things of that. I was like, what is this kid doing? But I realized that you have to support no matter what. I didn't realize it was going to turn out to be this now that he wants to do his clothing line and so forth. But I always tell him you got to have plan A, plan B, and C. You just can't just think of one thing. You got to think about when there's setbacks. What are you doing? How are you going to make your money? You know, what's your next? It's like, you know, if a kid wanted to be a basketball player, but when you get injured, what job are you going to do after that? So that's what I taught my kids. And my son, even my 15-year-old, he wants to be an entrepreneur. He wants his own business also, but it's not that easy. I let them know. And he sees that. But I'm glad that they have that kind of mentality. You know, my daughter, she wants to be in the medical field. Fine, and maybe one day she could have her own practice. You know, who knows? But for now, that's what she wants to do. But my two kids, my two sons, both my sons, they want to have their own business, and I
Wow.
know that they get it from me.
Exactly, because what you're doing is like modeling, right? A lot of
Yeah,
times, what's missing in the lives of our kids, it's not having that parental figure, that role model that
right.
guides them, right? And
Yes,
put them on
it's
that
so
path to
important.
success.
It's so
And
important.
I also think one of the biggest setbacks that we've had as well, it's not nurturing the mindset of your kids. Like when they come and they say, "Hey, mom or dad, this is what I would love to do," but instead you, as sometimes as parents, they're guilty of imposing our views, what it is that we think, how we think our child should be. So I'm
Right.
super happy that you
Yeah.
are so open and you're
Yeah.
giving your kids the permission to
Right.
take their life wherever they want to take it.
Right.
But I
Right.
want to go back to because like you've been talking around it, but I want to put it out there. You are the owner of a barbershop,
Mm,
an educator, the CEO of a barbershop in the Bronx. Talk to me about how you decided to open up a barbershop. How did you get there?
okay, so I always knew I wanted a business. I always wanted to have my daycare, but I knew at that time it was somewhat far fetched. I had a little money, and I said, okay, I don't want to spend it on red bottoms or nice clothing or my units. I want to invest. I thought about the people in my family, those who have skills, who have dreams, who I can invest in. My husband, my brother-in-law, he's like a legend. Everybody knows him. He had a barbershop before he lost the barbershop. And I said to myself, let me give him, and there was a few other people that I knew in there. I said, let me just invest in them. And I did. I didn't know anything about, I had people who say, at least as if you open your own daycare, if a teacher is out, you could replace the teacher because you know what you're doing. But if a barber is out, I get things like that. You don't know how to cut hair, so you should open things that of your interest that you can do. But I went out there in the limb, and I did because you have stakeholders, right? You have the people behind the scene too, right? That invest. So I said, I'm not going to listen to the naysayers and those negative things. I'm going to go with how I felt, and it was a struggle because you're dealing with all men. To decorating the place, to making decisions of how the bathroom, the size of the TV, all those things I'm like, I don't even want to worry about those things. I'm talking about the financial aspect, the paperwork that needs to be done and all those things. But I still had to worry about it because I wanted something different. I always like different, you know. I wanted to bring Manhattan to the Bronx. I want a different ambiance. I want it to be, but they have a saying that you could take such out of this, but you can't take that out of this. You know what I'm talking about? You could take the pig out of the mud, but you can't take the mud out of the pig, or whatever they say. There's an old time saying, but they're stuck in their ways. Pretty much, that's what I'm saying. I couldn't get. I got the uptown look. I mean, I had other barbershops renovating their place to make it look like they were like, "What are you doing with that kind of mirror? Barbers don't have mirrors like that." I said, "Well, then they have it now. What are you doing with this?" So it was like a lot of people had their sayings, their inputs, their this, their that, their whatever. But I was strong headed, and I know what I want, and it's my money, and I'm ready investing in you, and I just want you to just do what you do best, and that's cutting your hair and so forth, and showing showing service, good service, giving good service. So I did that, and I wanted more. I'm like, okay, a part two barbershop, the next barbershop, should I do like a chain of barbershops? And I was like, nah, my daycare keep on, it's in my head, like you got to do your daycare. So what I did is like I continued with a barbershop. There's a lot of bumps, and because guys think, I'm sorry, guys, you guys think different from us women. You guys are on planet what, Mars? Is it Mars or Jupiter? Metal.
Man from Mars.
Yes, exactly. So I'm like, okay, how can I get around this? So they didn't understand that there's a lot of, you have an insurance, there's liabilities. We're not outside on the street on a stump. So you're dealing with different personalities, and you have to be respectful, and you have to be aware and cultural sensitive towards people. And I knew that I had to bring in whatever I learned from school into the barbershop. I said, here it is. It's time for me to exercise what I'm learning. So I have to know how to approach them in such using reverse psychology, start with a compliment and get what I need to done after. It's not easy. You're dealing with various personalities. You gotta do inventory. Things that all they know is that, okay, we're cutting hair, but there's so many things behind cutting hair. And like I said, my brother-in-law, he had a barber shop, and the word had, I use the word had, because I think some of those things we never thought about. The business aspect of it, the paperwork, keeping things on file, following the policy, the procedures, try not to get fines, and just you gotta, it's two parts: your skills, whatever it is, the service that you're given, and dealing with the paperwork as well.
Absolutely.
And you got to learn how to network. You got to learn how to be different and be competitive. You got to learn to give something different than what other barbershops are doing. And it broke my heart in some sense to see that those things were being done. Like I brought the design to the barbershop. My barbershop was a different, no one, I mean, no one in that area to 241st had their barbershop set up like how I had my barbershop set up. But eventually, word goes around, people change and things of that, and they even stepped up more. They do facials, they do this, they do that. But my barbers are just barbers. They don't into the facial and the popping up bumps and things like that. But they're great barbers, and you get jokes, and they go out and they actually there for those who are homebounded and so forth. They actually put their things in their backpack and go to your house and service you for the. We were children with special needs, homes with special needs. We have contracts. They come, they get their hair cut and things of that nature. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that I have barbers who are able to work with uh, individuals with disabilities. And that's a great thing. That's unique. It's not a lot of barbers that can do that. Have the patient and tolerance, and those who are sick and homebound, and they go out there and they actually work with them.
Well, I hear innovation. I hear you being fearless and just being willing to follow your heart. And I,
Yes.
I think that's what sets you aside. And I want you to realize that outside of everyone and all the barbershops that's coming up now and all the different stuff that each individual is doing, your barbershop is unique to you in the
It
service
definitely
that it
is.
provides.
It is. That's why I stay holding on. And as much as I am grumpy and everything, they're so great. They have such a great rapport with their clients, and it's like everyone is family. And it's great to see those who used to pass by and then that were young, that's in the barbershop cutting hair now. It's great to see that there's a place that they can be instead of being on the street. It's just it's a beautiful feeling. It's like we're a family and we have our difference and we fight sometimes, but it's worth it. It's worth it because I feel more a part of the community. I could walk down the block and there's like, hi, everybody said, oh, you the lady from the barber shop, and it's like it's a community of people that I have now, and like I said, it's just to watch them grow and to see some of them actually working for us. It's a beautiful thing. I would never give that up. And I'm just looking for other. I was trying the Airbnb when we spoke earlier, but that's another. Atlanta is very hot now. It's not Atlanta, it's hot Atlanta. I'm telling you, the real estate is going boom, skyrocket. Everything went up. Things that was to be maybe 200,000 is 500,000 now, and I have to go back to the drawing board, unfortunately.
And that's okay. And that's
And
perfect.
it's okay because I'm not going to stop. I'm like a shark. I'm going to keep on going until I get what I really want. Yeah, and
And
need.
that's life, right? Like you
Yeah,
keep pushing yourself, you keep believing
yeah,
yourself, you keep
yeah.
going out on that limb because that's
Oh,
where the
most
fruit
definitely,
is. That's
most
where the fruit
definitely.
is.
Yes,
It's
yes,
not going to
yes.
come to you sitting and with everything else that's going on in your life, like you never stop, right? You
No,
keep
no, I
pushing
don't.
yourself because you're also a PhD candidate. Talk to us about that.
Oh, yes, and that is a challenge for me as well. And we all know that it's not easy, doing your PhD, and coming up with a dissertation and working and having a business and having your family. It's a lot. Um, I used the time when I was disabled, when I got hurt, to finish my master's and to go on to my. I'm 2 years in now. 2 years in. Can you believe that? Yep. So I'm 2 years in, getting ready to finish my book, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I don't waste time. Like any time that I have, if I'm not working because I was disabled for a while, um, I try to make the most of it. You know, I just don't sit back. I have to do something, and you have to have that drive too.
Yeah.
You have to have that drive, and you have to really want to do something. Because don't do it because somebody tell you to do it and you don't have the drive. If you don't have the drive, you're just going to be wasting your time. But when you have that drive, and sometimes you don't even know that you have the drive until someone tells you, well, like you're very good at baking. Every Christmas you give us like the best cake or the best this, and then you think about it and you say, you should go open up a shop. And if the person really believe in you, because I'm one of those ones who will believe in someone and push them to do what is necessary for them to become successful. So um, yeah, I mean, once you have that drive, there's no mountain that you can't climb and reach to the top. I'm telling you, it may take you years. Some people look at artists. You have artists that are, artists that 12, 13 years before they become known. Don't give up and don't look at the time. Like I always say, 7 times fall, 7 times rise. It's possible if you're serious, if you're 100% serious, you can get where you want to be. Definitely.
It's about believing in yourself,
Most
believing in
definitely.
yourself, believing in your dream, and be willing to make sacrifices.
The
And
most
that's the
cap-
takeaway I have today from the show and just in
capital S.
listening to what it is that you have to say. And for anyone out there who's listening and who's probably thinking, I want to do this, but I'm not sure, figure out your why, understand your purpose, and do it because you want to do it, not because anyone else is telling you to do it.
Right.
Miss Wright, it was such a pleasure having this conversation with you. You
Thank
are
you.
such a role model, and I hope that your kids will continue to cherish you. And I have to personally say thank you because this is what we need in our society. This is what we need
Right.
in our homes. This is what we need in our communities.
Yes.
We need strong black women,
Yes.
strong black women who are not afraid to say, "Today was a tough day, but how do I go back and make a difference tomorrow?" Not
Yes.
giving up.
Can't give
Crying
up.
is okay. I've always said to myself, I was a fool to believe that the definition of a strong black woman is that you should just get up and just keep going. And again, that's
Mhm.
because culturally that's how I was raised. But a
Mhm.
strong black woman is the woman who is being able to acknowledge her feelings
Yes. Very important.
and work those through. So thank you so much. It's
You're
been
welcome.
a pleasure. And I'm looking forward to coming to that graduation to, cheer you on
Yes. Yes. We're
and
gonna
see
be in
how
California.
you.
Just
Yes.
get your suitcase ready. We're gonna be in
You know,
California party for a whole week.
let me know
Celebrating.
because
I
that's what we have to
definitely
do. And
will.
you did something early that I didn't acknowledge. You celebrated yourself when you spoke about your kids and you're like, I'm going to pat
Pat
myself on the
myself.
back.
Yes, of
It's
course.
important for us to celebrate who we are. Don't
Yes.
wait for someone to acknowledge that.
No.
Thank you
And
so
that's
much.
I'm my biggest cheerleader.
You have to be. You have to
Yes.
be because you're not waiting to
And
get
critique
validated.
also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. It was such a pleasure. Is there any final words you would like to say to the audience before we tune off tonight?
Yes. It's very important with what we're dealing with in society right now. It's a critical moment for a lot of us. With the COVID, we lost a lot of loved ones. We lost hope, but I just wanted to let you know that once you wake up, you have another chance at it. Yes, things are going to happen. We're going to have more pandemic, unfortunately. Every 10 years it seems like, or so forth. But we have to just know that things going to change around us, but we have to hold on. Once we have life, be strong. And like Marie Dunn said, be of service. And you'll see how much that helps you. Sometimes when you're even broken, and need that kind of help, you know how it feels. So give back, always give back, and never give up.
Love that. Thank you, and good night, everyone. It was a pleasure. It's always a pleasure, and today my message of hope is to find that rope of hope, so it will pull you up in those moments when you're feeling low. Have a great week, everyone. Be awesome. Bye.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.